It's yeah. So Mac Miller's posthumous release has been released. It's January 17th. It's titled Circles, a continuation from Swimming in Circles. Before we get into the album, I want to tell you that I've been feeling a sense of dread just in anticipation for this release. I don't know why, and it's probably because Mac Miller's death has been one of the few artists' death in most recent years that has given me like the least closure. And I feel like his family taking the time and the appropriate measures in dealing with his death as it pertains to translating his last thoughts, his last feelings, the most recent work before his demise into an album. I feel like I might get some of that closure with this record. I don't really want to waste a ton of time. I want to talk about the album as we move through it, but I really just kind of want to pick his brain apart because it seemed like he was anticipating something like this well before it happened, and I heavily relate to that. So let's just hop into it. Title track at number 1. Dude, all I heard. This isn't gonna be good. You're not gonna get me like 40 seconds into the song. Uh, you look you're probably like, all right, the song isn't even started yet. What's wrong?
Wow!
I didn't I didn't last 45 seconds. It's just like when you hear the very intro, you're immediately hit with, I'm finally here. Like I finally made it. You know, this thing that so many people have been making such a big deal about, death. This is it. And the way it introduces itself is almost like Mac is saying, and he said nothing yet. I'm 45 seconds in, and it's almost like he's saying, this isn't that bad. Like this whole intro song is literally him talking to his loved ones, saying like, don't kill yourself because I'm dead. Don't be sad at my demise. It's like it feels like I'm speaking to you from the other side, trying to comfort you about my own death. Like I said before, I don't look at death as, like most probably look at it. Obviously, we know it's a negative thing, but it's a part of life, and I don't think it's something that should be looked at as the scariest thing in the world. Obviously, people don't want to go through it, but I love John Bryan's like selection with the instrumentals here from the Good News track that I heard in this one. They're so intimate and so soft, like he's speaking to you from the clouds or speaking to you from, this very peaceful, never-ending void. It does feel cinematic in that it feels as if he's achieved some sort of peace or wonderland. Saying to your loved ones and saying to the people you care about most, either while you were still here, hey, don't feel bad that there was nothing you could do to save me, that there was nothing that you could do to help me. It was my issue, it was my problem, it was my thing to fix. And if he's speaking from the other side, the anticipation and the foresight it takes to be able to speak like that without being overly emotional about it, just being able to be extremely candid about the state of your life, knowing I've tried all I can. Track number 2 is titled Complicated. That's way too long, I'll just get through the day without any complications. When I'm way too young to be getting old. These instrumentals really do like absorb you. Seems like it would be hard for a lot of people to talk about death. And I'll be candid, I've tried to express it in a way to folks that doesn't come off like it's a sad thought, even though they, express worry after I might explain it to him, I'm not trying to live forever, man. Like, I'm not trying to stay around, longer than I feel like I need to be around. And sometimes I feel that way, like, as a young man. Sometimes I feel that way just, early 20s. Hey, I've seen enough. Not to say that I'm ready to go or that I think that, my time is here. I definitely want to live as long as possible, but long life doesn't equate to happy life. I'm not saying that you can't live long and happy, but I feel the obsession with living to a certain number or getting to an old age is just something that made me more depressed growing up, made me more, it made me more defiant to certain rules. I feel like as a young kid, I had to deal with so much already. Like, why do I want to live with this forever? Or why would I want to live with this for another 80 or so years? I look at death the same way I look at sleep. And while you're sleeping, you pretty much close your eyes and you open them again. You don't realize how long you've been asleep. And I feel many people take that state of peace for granted because we never get to experience the 9, the 8, 7, 6 for some people, 5 usually for me, hours of sleep that you get, and that constant uninterrupted peace. Not saying that that's what I want forever, but that's going to be the eventual outcome. I don't despise that outcome. I welcome it. I want it to occur at some point, because the way I look at that is just a never-ending peace. It's a never-ending sleep. I don't look at death as really a loss of life. I just look at it as a constant state of peace. Constantly think about why people are so obsessed with getting into the bed, and why everyone, when they're done with their day, yes, you're tired, but you love sleep, man. You love getting into that bed and just resting and getting comfortable. It's not just because you're tired. It's because it's a literal escape and rest period and state of consistent peace from the entire day you just had. But some people go through life at a much more harsh rate than others, and a constant state of peace is just, it's a beautiful thought. I'm not saying that it's something that you want. Obviously you can experience peace while you're alive, but it's just not something that I despise to the extent that I'm willing to say I'm afraid of it. Track number 3 is titled Blue World. I would have loved for that sample to just play out. I would have loved that. 180, I ain't politicking, I ain't kissing no baby. That shit. Had the homies with me, all of a sudden they split. We ain't so hard to find when the devil trying to call your. I just like how there is a sense of, hope and still happiness in this chaos, in this obvious, odd and weird world that you can be in, or that you can notice while you're in. Just having the consistency or the drive, or having the somewhat courage to just keep going anyway in spite of what you see. And then we got the next track, Good News, which, Good News is a wake-up call, or should be for a lot of people. The way I interpret good news is, like, it's hard for people to not hear good news, because most of the time I feel like they don't know how to help you. And if you're a reasonable person, you're not going to blame them for not being able to help you. But at the same time, why put myself out there if you can't? And then you'll be upset with me if I don't say anything to you. So I'm in a constant state of fear of expressing my issue to you, because I know in the back of my mind you probably can't help me. And now you can't help me. Now you know my info, you know my business, and now you're worried. You're telling me everything that I shouldn't do, but you don't have a single answer for what I should do. A lot of people want the good news because there's no real work attached to it. But who am I to blame? Is it my fault for not being open with you? I can't blame you being a somewhat reasonable person, because if I do that, I'm going against what I believe in myself. I want you to have access to me, but I don't want you to have access to my information if you don't know how to aid in my issue. So I feel like the only time I'm fully safe is by myself, but that's also coincidentally when I'm in the most danger, because no one's gonna be there to tell me when I'm doing something wrong, but they also can't tell me how to do it right. Number 5, I can see. Save me. Before I drive myself crazy, dreaming so long.
something. Ground, I'm hitting the ground, I fell from the top.
I don't know. I feel comforted. You know, I feel like he's okay. You're not supposed to feel that way. I feel like he still has a consciousness. But that's the anticipation speaking. That's the foresight that I was giving credit to in reference to when it came to him understanding that his doom was coming. You know, I like how dreamy and spacey and ethereal it all is. It really fits this narrative. Track number 6 is Everybody.
Everybody's gonna die. Think you know the reason why.
Whoa. This isn't really supposed to keep happening like this. It's like, why do you have to be so okay about it? Yeah, I don't know. It's just the only thing about death, the only thing about death that honestly like doesn't sit well with me is how people feel about, you know, how people are gonna feel about the person when they pass. I try not to view death so selfishly when it comes to myself, because I'm trying to just come to grips with the fact that, okay, this thing isn't about just me. Everyone's gonna go through it, so why is it sad when it happens to me? And it's not that it's sad when it happens to me, it's gonna be sad for the people that love me. And I get it, but I mean, I'm with him. You know, I understand, I empathize with that feeling of just, you want to have a good time to distract from the inevitable fact that at some point that time is going to come to an end. So you go through life seeking that and trying to obtain that good time, that happiness and that peace while your eyes are open, just to not distract you from the inevitable, but just to give you some sort of sanity, to make you feel like you didn't just waste the time that you had here, the opportunity that you have to live a life. You don't want that to go to waste, so you spend it trying to have a good time, trying to enjoy it with the people that you love, trying to do what you feel is right. I guess the thing that's sad about the case now, looking at it again, is, for me, I can understand why people could say that they're concerned about why I would think about it that way, because I'm so young. And I don't feel like it's normal to think that way about your life when you are so young, because there's still so much that you have to do. But when you've been through so much, man, it's like, I'm just so over it. I'm not saying that I'm ready. Relax, all right? Chill, whoever or whatever. But I'm just saying, I'm not mad. I won't be mad. I won't be upset. I won't be sad. There's so much good that happens in life and that comes with life, but at the same time, let's just hope that you are one of the people that can go through it without experiencing too much of the bad that it can also offer. But I feel like at this age, I'm supposed to be reluctant to the idea of it, and I don't think I am. And I don't think he was. Track number 7 is Woods. Oh shit. Eminem just dropped a new album. Track number 7 is Woods.
Well, you'll forget my past. Got questions, ask you, know the stories. When you leave the way you go, then I'll come.
That's the first track I wasn't really crazy about. You know, in comparison to everything else that I feel like I've heard, that one just doesn't do too much for me. Said one thing that I have to commend the record for it being a posthumous release is it sounding complete. It being enough material and content within this record for it to be respectable as a commercial release. Track number 8 is Hand Me Downs. I don't like this. I mean, I like it, but it's making me feel some type of way.
Thinking maybe I should thank you. I made it, but once I build it, I break it. That might just break me down. Ever since I can remember, I've been keeping it together, but I'm feeling trying to stay in.
No.
Down.
I don't know who that was on the hook. He sounds similar to Frank Ocean. I think the voice coming in is a little bit lower pitched, so I don't think it's Frank, but he sounds like him. Again, it's another track that I empathize with. I don't know. It's just the empathy album. You know, this is Mac Miller's Don't Worry, I'm Okay album. Track number 9, That's On Me. Like, it feels so lonely. Just the feeling that I get from some of these tracks just puts Mac at the center of all this space, as if he's sitting on this prairie and there's nothing but like this extremely lush green grass everywhere with a really clear blue sky, and he's just by himself, and he's just making these songs, strumming a guitar, just going and sending a message back to the regular realm saying, don't worry, I'm okay. That's why I say these instrumentals and just the sound John Bryan has used here just make this such an intimate listen. I don't know how I've been lately, but I've been alright. Oh my God. I don't know where I'm at, but I woke up this morning. I'm alright. Don't wait around. Like he knew he was gonna die. Like, imagine making music knowing that this is the music that people are gonna hear after your death, and you're just sending them little messages saying, this is my message to you because I know I'm no longer here while I'm here. Understand what he is feeling right now. That's like I said, that's the crazy thing about this record is I feel what he's feeling, and I say that I feel what he's feeling in present tense as if he's still around, because these are emotions and feelings that he like threw into the future. He found peace thinking about what was beyond as opposed to what was there. And that, like I said, that is the toxicity maybe of just being okay with whatever comes your way. Previous track, he kind of extends an apology to the girl. I'm assuming that he was talking about, saying that it wasn't really her fault. Like, it wasn't, if you couldn't help me, then that's okay. Like, it's my problem, but it shouldn't just be your problem. You should have people that you care about, people that know you well enough to know, but at the same time, you're reasonable enough to know it's not your fault. If my death ends up coming from my problem, then that's okay. That's on me. And if the only way that I can escape this is through a beyond that I don't know what lies before, is that the only way to get out of it? Obviously it isn't. But knowing how in this album, it goes again and says, you want me to tell you good news. You want me to tell you things are going to be okay or things are all right with me. And maybe they aren't. But if I tell you that, what the fuck can you do about it? I love this song. This one right here is my favorite. I feel like shit right now. Track number 10 is Hands.
There's no reason to be so down. Rather fly around like there's no ground. She call me daddy, got a knack for getting nasty. Every day we keep a tally, yeah. I'm busy tripping about some shit that still ain't even happened yet. So I might just pull your car to fist on top of the deck. Give me.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I don't. Like, I mean, that's one of the few this is a posthumous release. 11 is Surf.
We could be fine. Head and your shoulders, your knees and your toes. Just like I got her head in the clouds. Don't need to be much of this world is above us, baby. They might tell you that I'm proud, that I'm feeling the most on my own.
I gotta give John Bryan a lot of credit for isolating Mac Miller so well, using these instrumentals. Pairing it with Mac's, talk about being lonely in crowds, feeling to himself, aids in the idea of him being somewhere that no one's able to reach him right now, and even when he was here. That makes it terrible for romantic relationships. You don't let somebody in for 2 minutes. Oh. Track number 12 is Once a Day.
Once a day I fall asleep. Wonder if they ever even cared at all. I wonder, do they see? Waiting for another open door.
Jeez.
Come up, don't keep it all in your head.
Where do I put it?
But I can't find a single word.
That made me alright. or not all right. It made me I got the solace I was looking for. I got the closure with this that I was looking for. Um how I feel about it, it's I'm okay. The album. I'm okay with what happened, how it happened, however it may happen, just know I'm good with it. And it sucks thinking about it because you have a person with a ton of potential that had nowhere to go when they have issues, when they have problems, when trouble arises, they feel lonely, so they refuse or are skeptical when it comes to others or the world that they live in, it being inspired by such craziness and it inspiring such craziness within themselves. They assume that world isn't able to give back to them something that it never really gave to them. You know, if the world that you grew up in or the world or the area you're from never really showed you anything therapeutic, never really showed you how to cope and deal with your issues, deal with your struggles or your problems in a healthy way, you just assume naturally as you enter adulthood that that same world, that same environment, those same people wouldn't be able to offer you any solace when it comes to dealing with further issues that you deal with. So you find other means, other ways to figure your situation out. And you know, the more people you encounter, everyone knows what not to do, but no one knows what to do. No one knows how to fix a problem. You're having to deal with so much as you progress, as you come up, as you get older, you just feel this sense of relief knowing that life isn't forever. And it feels sad or fucked up to say it to people that, I don't know, look forward to getting up every day or look forward to getting their day going or you know, quote unquote saving or fixing the world. I don't know how people, you know, morning folks, I don't know what they'll feel okay knowing that, thank God, this feeling will not last forever, but your death will be forever. So in this temporary span that you get to breathe, have your eyes open, have the light beam into your iris, you think, hey, there's got to be something I can do while I'm here. No way this feeling of dread, unease, paranoia, and dis-ease, not disease, but dis-ease. There's no way that this feeling is going to last a lifetime. And if it does, I'm okay, because I know it'll end one day. I think that's the feeling. I feel like I'm supposed to feel like a different way about it, but I just don't. I just don't. I don't really know how I'm supposed to feel about that. I empathize. I really do. I empathize with him. Obviously, I'm a, you know, everybody's going to deal with their situation their own way, but do I fault him? Am I upset with the way he handled things? Especially knowing how he just ultimately ended up making a record filled with anticipating an early demise, and he was okay with it. And I'm trying to spend my last moments telling other people not to be upset. I'm kind of trying to use myself as a tool for them to learn from. But if you can, you know, this is catharsis, right? This is obviously for his own catharsis, but I definitely think for people out there, it'll be therapeutic. I feel like I'm the only thing / person that can heal me, but at the same time, I'm not the only thing / person that can hurt me. So it leaves me to figuring all that shit out. So I feel him. I do. I feel around like a 7, 8-ish on this album as well. I did. I really enjoyed it. Like more than swimming, honestly. Not just because he's dead. I actually enjoyed it. It has more meaning and more feeling because he's no longer here, but I genuinely enjoyed this record. And there are some moments on here where he raps his ass off. So that's how I feel about Mac Miller's what album is this called? Circles. yeah, I'll probably do a deep dive into this also later at some point. Maybe next week or a week and a half or 2 weeks from now after I've sat with it a little bit longer. But yeah, that's how that's where I'm at. And yeah, I got nothing else to say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.